Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives, where tonight we are back with the 2025 Honda Civic Si. It's been a few weeks since I drove this Si for the first time in Nashville, Tennessee, and now Honda has sent one to me to live with for a few days in Michigan. So I thought since we already did kind of a commute piece on this new facelifted Si, we'd take it for a bit of a chill night drive, and I figured I'd give you guys some more driving impressions. We'll kind of listen to what this car sounds like on some Michigan roads, and I'll give you some final thoughts at the end. But before we do so, if you're new and you haven't seen the new facelifted 2025 Civic Si, we'll walk you around it really quick. We'll show you what the interior looks like at night, and then we're going to jump on the road. We're going to drive to downtown and just give you some night driving impressions here on this new car. So, what's new for 2025? Well, it isn't much, and most of the differences actually lie in the interior, but there are a few on the outside as well. We have these new, unique to the Civic Si wheels. In fact, they actually say Si on them, which I think is cool because the old Civic Si shared its wheels with the Civic Sport, so it was kind of hard to distinguish the Sport and the Si when you saw them out on the road, so this has a bit more of a unique look. This is the HPT package car, which means we have the Goodyear Eagle F1 tires, and well, they're probably my favorite Goodyear tires out of any that I've driven on. I'm usually not a huge fan of Goodyears, but these are actually quite all right. Up front, we have a slightly revised front fascia. We've got a new upper and lower grille, and all of the 2025 Civics now kind of have like this sport front bumper look, although the Si does get its own unique grille and of course Si badging. This is finished in my favorite color, urban gray. Not actually. I wish that cars came in different colors other than urban gray in Honda's press fleet, but here we are with another urban gray Civic Si. I actually checked to see if this was the exact car I drove in Nashville, and it is not. It is a different VIN. But around back, we have some tinted taillights, a little bit darker than the ones you would have gotten on a pre-facelift car. But I think that's it on the outside. Urban gray is a new color for the Civic Si for the 25 model year. They ditched the orange, but there is still a red. I think it's white, black, gray, and red, I think, are your only choices now. So not a whole lot to choose from. This is locked for some reason. We'll go ahead and step into the back seat. Not a whole lot to see back here either, but we'll check out our rear seat lighting situation. Obviously, the 11th Gen Civic is very roomy in the back seat. We do know this, but if it's nighttime and you want to read, or if you're a child and you want to have your parents tell you that it's illegal to have this light on in the back seat, there you go. It's actually pretty bright. You could read something quite clearly in front of you, reading a map maybe, or something. I'm not too sure. We'll actually leave that on. Yeah, we'll turn it off completely. Little fold-down armrest with some cup holders, but I mean, it is super basic. This is still, at the end of the day, a Honda Civic, so I can't expect a whole lot in the backseat of this thing. This Civic Si is just under $30,000. It still sneaks just below, which means with taxes, destination, everything like that, you're going to be looking at right around $31,000. Honda doesn't allow you to choose a ton of options, really just your paint color and your tires. That's kind of the way that it's always been, and it's the way that it still is. Actually, there is a second wheel option, though. I imagine those may be a dealer accessory. Under the hood is unchanged. We still have the same 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, 200 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque. We still have a 6-speed manual, and we still have that helical front limited slip diff. So it is still quite a nice sort of hot, compact recipe here. This is the Earth Dreams engine. No engine cover on this or anything like that, but same 1.5-liter VTEC, all the normal stuff. Pretty clean looking engine bay, honestly, but you know, they don't mess around with silly engine covers or anything like that. It's just an honest little 4-cylinder turbo. This engine's been around now for 10 years. I think 2015 maybe was the first. 2015, 2016, something like that. So it's been around for quite some time. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up. We'll show you what it looks like with the lights on at night. Cool. Of course, we have automatic headlights. Nice looking DRLs. overall headlight design. I've always liked the way these taillights look as well. I love this little black lip spoiler back here too. Pretty basic 4-cylinder idle there from this 1.5 liter. I think they've done just enough here for this facelift. Exterior wise, the car is still pretty understated. Not a whole lot that tells you that it is an SI, but you know, that's okay. If you know, you know. The wheels, the spoiler. Cool. Let's hop in and drive it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to use one of the new features straight away because it's cold. What is it outside? It's 46. I guess in the grand scheme of things, that isn't terribly cold, but we were coming off of a week of 70 and 80 degree weather, so 46 feels freezing. I'm going to go ahead and equip my heated seat. That is a new thing for the US. I know all you Canadians in the comments are going to say, oh, well, our Civic Si has had heated seats. Okay, I know all of you commented that in my video on the TheTopher channel, so thank you so much. But now us Americans can enjoy our heated seats in the Si as well. We now also have the gauge cluster from the FL5 Civic Type R, which has shift lights at the top. I'll show you guys those once we're actually out on the road, because just revving it in the parking lot stationary does not activate the shift lights. Other tech stuff that's new for 25, we have USB-C ports to wire in for your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto if you do desire, but this does have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto here in this new Google-based infotainment system. We've been seeing this in a lot of new Honda products. Unfortunately, not the new Honda Odyssey that Emily and I were just driving last week, but we do have Google Maps, everything built into this infotainment system. I've got my phone set to wired CarPlay only. It's usually the easiest thing to do with these press cars, so I'm going to go ahead and plug my phone in because we'll do a little sound system test here with this Bose system a little bit later on, and let you hear what that sounds like in the Si. Finally changed my phone background. Emily and I went and saw the Northern Lights. And the Kid Leroy is playing. Emily and I went the other night and saw the Northern Lights, so a little bit of a different look on the phone there. Otherwise up here, nothing has changed, and I am feeling the heat from that heated seat. That feels quite nice. Let's go ahead and turn recirc off. I'm going to put my heat up to 70. Don't want to overheat the GoPro, but we can actually test out our vent placement with heat. Usually we test it out with air conditioning, but it is getting cold. 46 degrees. Super fresh car, barely broken in. 564 miles on this thing. This is, as far as I know, full production, not a pre-pro. So, yeah. A couple different drive modes, individual, sport, and normal. We'll start today in normal. And, of course, we'll go through and show you what those are like. Actually, before we get on the road, let's quickly show you our hazards. Just one more kind of lighting setup you guys can observe. You can see normal, just kind of halogen bulbs on the back. Looks like we've got LED strips on the front. Nice. Yeah, these are really nice headlights on this car. All right, let's jump in and go for a drive. Hazard switch is front and center on this thing. Love it. Nice and easy to hit. If you're in an emergency situation, you can just whack that button. I don't know if the sunset is showing up on the GoPro or not. I'm thinking about switching my night driving rig to a DJI. That's what the TheTopher's been using lately, and his night drive videos look really nice, so I think I'm going to copy his setup. But we're working with what we have tonight. This is a pretty satisfying car to drive at low speeds. Really nice shifter action from this 6-speed manual. Honda always gets their shifters really nicely dialed in. See our automatic brights kicking on there. Good stuff. We're just in a park, so it's actually an appropriate time for the brights to kick on to make sure we don't crash into a deer or a raccoon or a possum. Oh, there's a bunny right there. One other thing actually we have new for 2025 is the rev matching system from the Civic Type R, which means this will now downshift into first gear with a rev match. It would not do that before. Makes it nice if you are commuting, if you are in rush hour traffic or something like that. Stop and go, you can rev match yourself into first and not have to go through the complete pedal dance. You can hear these Eagle F1s picking up some rocks. Bit of ASMR. Rev matching system overall does a fantastic job. I had no roughness with this car this week. Overall, just a really nice car to drive, and for 30 grand, it's a cool daily driver for somebody that is enthusiastic about shifting their own gears, of course. Let's give myself a little bit of a thumbnail option here. Very bright LED map lights. Let's actually go sport mode. Plenty of power and torque there to get you up to speed. Sport mode does pipe in some simulated noise. I've got my individual modes set up to be kind of a sport mode without the fake noise. So we'll probably roll in that for the majority of the video. I want to let you guys observe some of our NVH here over these potholes. This is not the most perfect road in the world, so you can hear that a bit. Going to turn our cluster brightness down. We have a physical little roller to the left of the steering wheel to do that. Love to see any sort of physical control here. I'm actually getting a bit hot. Turn the heated seat down to setting 1. We've got really nice cover from these headlights. I can see everything I need to see. Even my little Civic in the cluster shows that my lights are on, my taillights are lit up. We don't have any ambient lighting in this thing, but at 30 grand I wouldn't really expect there to be any. My little shelf thing down here though, somewhat lit up. This person a bit of room. It's pretty easy to drive this car slowly. You do have a good amount of rev hang though, which means if you're pushing it to the limit, you do have a little bit of drag from the clutch when you're changing gears at high RPM. You can see our shift lights there. Really, really nice bite from that brake pedal. This is like peak slow car fast. I would say it just kind of slips under the category of slow car at 200 horsepower. But it's so fun to just kind of push this car to the limit and drive it hard. Once you've kind of trained your brain to compensate for that rev hang. Let's take an entrance ramp. I love here is you can actually row a few gears and get up to what is essentially the speed limit. All right, here on the highway at a reasonable speed. We've got some wind intrusion, some road intrusion, of course. These Goodyear Eagle F1s, with them being a high-performance tire, they're not going to be the quietest thing in the world, but it's not offensively loud. I'm pretty sure all of the 2025 Civics, no matter what, have gotten to some extent some more sound deadening. I know the Sport Touring models, the highest trim, kind of the cozy Civic, that has some little inserts in the tires that help deaden the road noise a bit. The Civic Si does not get that, but I think we have a little bit more sound deadening in the interior. Here, there. Yeah. Also tweaked for 25 are all of our driver aids. We have some tweaks to our adaptive cruise, our lane keep assist, all of that stuff. It feels a bit more natural. I mean, I've got a number of videos kind of covering this in a bit more detail, so if you want to go and watch my MDX road trip or even my initial video on the Civic Si, I talk about that a bit more. We'll kind of keep tonight's drive a bit more chill, and actually I want to do a sound system test as we roll down the highway here on this Bose system. Some of you may remember this song from the Lexus GX night drive. I lost it, I forgot about it, but it's back now for us tonight. The most detailed song, I guess, now that I'm kind of considering that, but I really love this Bose system. I think it's great for the class. For 30 grand, it's really, really hard to beat. It definitely beats the Harman Kardon and the Kias, the Bose and the Hyundais. I think the only thing that really gives it a run for its money is the Bose and the Mazda 3. That is a super good system, but it's definitely kind of class, not class leading, but it's kind of tied with the Mazda, in my opinion. It does a really good job for what it is. All right, getting down to some of the kind of cheaper car stuff. We don't have a auto dimming mirror. You can of course flip this little switch here, mechanical switch on the mirror, and that will dim the mirror. Side mirrors are not dimming, so you do have the potential to get blinded by semi-trucks and things. Normally we would do some kind of a bridge test there for exhaust note, but the Civic Si is so quiet that there's no real point in doing so. The majority of the noise you get is piped in when you're in sport mode. Turn off our auto stop start. Don't die on me there. I hate auto stop start in manual cars because it just throws off the whole experience. First gear is pretty short. You can essentially just use it to take off, go right into second. I think my favorite part about this car is just how livable it is in pretty much every aspect. As far as regular driving goes, it's pretty hard to beat for an enthusiast car. I love the damping. I love that it's a firm ride, but it doesn't shake you to pieces, and this interior is built so well. Actually built a bit better than the one I was driving in Nashville. It had an interior rattle behind the dash. This one feels really nice and tight. So not only is the suspension not too harsh, but when you go over bumps, you don't hear the interior moving about. Thank you, 10th Gen Civic, for almost sideswiping me. But yeah, it's a really nice daily driver. You've got plenty of room in the back seat. You get some small little whistling noises from the turbo, but you really don't hear too much. Kind of just an uninspiring 1.5 liter 4-cylinder sound. Powertrain overall, I mean, you've got torque, you've got enough power, but you know, the 4-cylinder in this doesn't make me excited in the way that the 2-liter in the Elantra N does. Not that this is a direct competitor to the Elantra N, but just using that as an example. I have this irrational fear always with this car, since reverse is right next to 6th gear. I'm always scared I'm going to go from 5th to reverse and just drop the entire transmission out of the car. But they have to have thought of that. And it has to be very hard to hit reverse from 5th. Alright, let's turn up the intensity of the potholes here. This is a properly garbage road. I don't know, guys. I think this may end up being peak Honda Civic. I keep getting flashed by other 11th Gen Civics. It's the second time that's happened today, and I don't know if it's because I'm doing something wrong. Maybe my brights aren't on. I'm not doing anything. I swear to God, I got flashed by a white 11th Gen Civic earlier, and now a boost blue hatchback just flashed his brights at me. He should know out of anybody that my brights aren't out, so maybe he's just saying hello. I don't know. Is that a thing? Honda Civic owners, chime in. Do you guys flash your brights at each other to say hello? Cool. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I just wanted to quickly go on one more little night drive with you guys in the Civic Si. I don't think we'll have anything else really to report on another Honda Civic for the next few years until the 12th gen comes out. Which, man, I hope they preserve this 6-speed manual gearbox in some form, even if it's only in the Type R. Because I do genuinely really like driving this car. Lots of highs with this. The only lows are it is still a little bit loud. And the rev hang does get annoying if you're trying to drive this car quickly. But I'm kind of used to it. I think that, you know, I went out on the launch event. I think I learned the car pretty quickly, even though there were people in the TheTopher's comment section telling me I didn't know how to drive. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. But the rev hang in this car is kind of just to be expected at this point. I mean, we've seen it in so many Civic SIs. Excuse me, as this semi-truck turns around in front of me. Okay, thank you. Thought they were going to try and sideswipe me too. All right, let's see if we're at a good height to grab a ticket to get into the structure here. Sometimes with cars that are low down, it's a bit hard to grab these tickets. No parking sensors or anything on this.
Please select an event from the screen.
Oh yeah.
Welcome.
We're literally at a perfect level to grab that.
Into the lot.
So if you commute into a parking structure, you're all set. Oh, look at that M2. Cool. Oh, it's got a Sparco seat in it. SCCA stickers. Drop our windows, let you guys hear this 1.5 a bit. Ooh, it is cold. Oh no. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us. Hopefully you enjoyed just a little bit more driving here in the new facelifted Civic Si. Stop it right here under this light. Give you guys one last look at the exterior. Comment down below if you have any questions about this, or if there's anything I left out. Let me know, please. And let me know what your favorite generation of Civic Si is. I haven't really driven many other ones. Fun fact, and if you've stayed this long in the video, you get a little bit of lore. I actually worked at a Honda dealership for 10 weeks after I graduated college. So just about 2.5 months, I was a service advisor at a Honda dealership, and I decided that the dealership life was not for me. And ever since, I've been doing this. So I have actually driven a fair amount of Hondas just in that 10-week period. So, but yeah, anyways, I suppose that's not really super important to today's video, but there you go. Now you know. Oh, it smells like good food here. One last look at this thing. I really like the Civic Si. I always have since this 11th gen Si came out a few years ago. Cool. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Let me know if you have any suggestions for these night drive videos. I kind of find myself doing one every couple of months. Fun to switch things up sometimes. But that'll be it. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.